Hi everyone. This video will introduce you to the Flipgrid tool. Flipgrid's forte is providing a platform for discussion. The tool makes talking out loud and on camera easy for both students and teachers. Students can respond directly while asynchronously, and they can talk with one another as well. The pro features of the tool have been opened by Microsoft, so accessing all of them is possible for everyone. So let's get started and take a look at Flipgrid. Here we are on the Flipgrid homepage. This is the page that you'll be returned to every time you want to log in and look at the grids that you've created. But the first time that you go on to Flipgrid, you'll need to sign up and have an educator sign up. So let's take a look at how that works. I've chosen the educator login, and I'm just going to go up here and ask to sign up today. And I'll be given a couple of choices. I can sign up with either of these two email options. I'm going to go ahead and pick sign up with Google. And because it recognizes that I have an account, it's built in for me that I can go ahead and select this as an option that it recognizes. And I'm going to go ahead and pick my work email because that's where my grids are set up. If it's new for you for the first time, you'll have to create a profile for yourself, and you can add as much detail or as little as you'd like. The system will populate some basic information about you, and then you'll be allowed to add a bit of extra information as well. Each time you're taken to your home page on Flipgrid, you'll either go to a set of grids that you already have set up. These are topics that you have already included into your Flipgrid, or you can add a new grid, and that's what I'd like to show you right now. Add a new grid. You'll see that you're given an opportunity to name your grid and to create some specifics about how the grid will work. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to give my grid a name. I'm going to call it Tutorial for AVLI Summer. And then you'll want to pick one of these options, which community that you're going to use your grid with. And I'm going to pick the Educator Learning Community. If you pick the school email, then you'll be populating an email list for your students to look at the grids that you've created. Student ID is for creating a list of student IDs to join your grid. Generally speaking, you'll want to choose this one for a particular in-house school, but I'm going to go ahead and choose Educator Learning Community. And then if you notice down here, create a Flipgrid code. This is the code that your students will use to join the grid that you've created. And there are some options in terms of personalizing the name of your Flipgrid code. So they've given me Kelly 5699. What if I wanted to change it to Kelly AVLI 555. Let's see if that's available. It says it's available, and I'm going to keep that, so I'm going to hit next. Educator Learning Community, add a password. It's optional. You can turn this on or off to add a password. Generally speaking, your students will want to have a password before they enter your Flipgrids. I'm going to skip that for now and go to next. And sure enough, the Flipgrid is ready, and we're going to be able to go to it and start creating content. From this basic page that lists this particular grid that I'm creating, if you want to, you can personalize it a little bit more. If you come over here to the Edit Grid, you'll be given some options to personalize that. You can add a password if you didn't have it there already. If you scan down here, you can make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to suit your tastes. I'm going to have my grid set as active, which means that it's possible for anyone to view it and access it on their own time. You can give notifications in terms of every time someone submits a video. This really helps you keep in contact with your students, and you'll get notifications either daily, weekly, every new video, or never, depending upon what you'd like. I'm just going to leave that with daily. If you notice here, download and share. This gives you an option for students to download and share after creating their video. Generally speaking, you'll want to leave that on probably. And then going on down here in terms of the aesthetics, if you want to drop a file that creates an image for the grid cover to personalize it, you certainly can. The system allows you a certain number of choices. I can choose from these options. If I switch to nature, maybe I'd like one of these. I kind of like the cat. I almost feel like picking the cat. What do you say? Let's pick the cat. And the cat becomes our personalized grid option. So the system has updated. Actually, I just hit the refresh button, so the cat would be featured there. And of course, now we have our cat, our tutorial for AVLS Summer, and we're ready to put our first content on here in terms of a topic. So what you want to do is you want to scroll down to where you have an option to add a new topic, and that's what we're going to do right now. Here on the topic page, you'll notice that topics are where your students record their videos. There is an option to go to a disco library, and that provides you with some suggested word prompts or writing prompts or discussion prompts, and gives you a bunch of examples from educators around the world. That's absolutely true. But for now, I'm going to select the topic myself. And let's say, as an example, I'm going to create a topic for teachers, perhaps a topic for reflection that I can use as one of the bell routines at the start of my distance course or program. I want teachers, let's say, to begin thinking about how to choose online tools for their own courses, and I want them to consider the form of their choices almost as though they were an artist from a design perspective. So I'm going to ask the teachers to consider something that they can reflect upon, and I'm going to entitle this Bell Routine Reflection. And then down here I have the option to add a question or stimulus text. If I've worked things out with my students, I can ask them to consider Aristotle's prompt about the definition, of form. You can provide as much information here as you'd like. You'll see you have a variety of options. You can insert a link here if you have another video created, or if you want them to go to a specific URL to receive some other kind of content. You're able to link a variety of resources to this to make your prompt or your discussion more full, but for now we'll just leave it at this. If you look down here, this recording time refers to how much time your students will have to record their response. And you have a whole variety of choices. How much reflection time would you like to give the teachers in this example? Do I want to listen for 10 minutes, perhaps, or perhaps not? But the default is 1 minute and 30 seconds, and that's a pretty ample period of time for someone to respond, so I'm going to leave it right there. Among your options for creating content, of course, are the resources that you have that are external and some that are internal. For example, if I wanted to record a video, I could choose that. That makes the conversation a little bit more personal. It's quite easy to do. If I click that, I'm provided with a screen. It wants me to set Adobe Flash. I don't need to do that, so I can go ahead and record my video. You will be given a couple of options on this. Always say yes, everything is safe, and you can just go ahead and record a video. For now, we'll leave this. You can upload a video, as I said, that's already prepared. If you have something loaded onto YouTube, you have the option to do that. You can upload an image, and all you have to do is drop or click. You can look through your computer as well. You'll have an opportunity to do that. So I could drop something from my desktop if I wanted to, but I'll skip it for now. And you can allow students to add emojis. You can add emojis. Basically, anything that you want in terms of a responsive prompt can be added here. So when you're all finished, you have your instructions provided. Perhaps you've created a video. You've given an opportunity for your students to answer in a specific way. You want to go ahead and create the topic. And now you're given a Flipgrid code. This is the code that goes exactly to the topic that you just created. If you copy it, you can embed it anywhere you'd like. You can create a QR code that someone can scan from a particular set of devices. But if you're happy with this, you can just say all set, and then your topic is created. As you go about creating and exploring, what you'll find is that if you click on a topic that's already there, this is the one we just created, you can scroll through and you can add further advice, or you could have done this to begin with. But let's say your students are working with something that you want them to respond to, and they're not quite as active in terms of responding as you'd like, or if you think it's rather a difficult topic, you can add a tip for them so that it will make it response more accessible for them to read. The feature link, topic attachments, you can link this to anything you've already created in any of these resources. And what that will enable you to do is have students referring to content that you've created or perhaps that they've studied before. You want to create a title for that. My status is active. And this is kind of nice. You can create a date. So this is never going to expire, but if I wanted to start it at a particular date or end it at a particular date, it really helps in terms of organizing content for your students, especially in the context of an entire unit. Down here is where you have the option of how your students will respond to you. They can create selfies and videos. If you hit this, they can create selfies only, videos only, or none of the above. This will depend upon how you want response from your students to come so that you can review it. You can check out these variety of links. One thing I know that students like is if they're able to like it, especially when one student can respond to another, they're able to like it or not. You can turn all of these things on or off. You can allow students to reply to one another. You can allow students to post sticky notes. There's just a huge variety of options that after your topic is created or while you're creating it, you can set in advance. But I'll pretend now that I've just updated it, so I'll go ahead and update it, and now all of the features that I've just selected are embedded into this particular topic. So there's a couple of things to point out here. Once your topic has been created and you have it set up the way that you'd like, you can see here it's got my tip to make your response more accessible. Here is the prompt that I'm wanting my students to respond to. I want you to take a notice at this button because there is an immersive reader there, and this is particularly helpful for students, especially if they're not able to access well on their device, or if you don't have a video, they'll be able to use the immersive reader, and what this enables them to do is have a more clear image or a clear picture of what you're asking them to do. Before we leave this, I just want to also show you this drop down over here for actions. There are opportunities for you to go even further and to make some kind of adjustments if you'd like. You can, let's say the night before you decide I'm not really ready for them to engage in that topic, you can hide the topic. You can move the topic to a different location if you have multiple grids. These are just options that enable you to organize your materials systematically without having to go back into the whole list. But let's say you're ready to share. You just go right up here to this button, and this will provide you with the direct URL to this particular Flipgrid topic. If you copy it, as I said, you can embed it in a variety of places. It's copied to my clipboard now, and all I would have to do is go back into my class and hit my button, and I could paste it right into my materials. So you'll see once you have more than one grid and topic area set up that every time you return to your home page, you're shown them. You see I've got our banner, our cat here. Just a very quick note that if you do have more than one topic, you'll be able to rearrange them or organize them any way you'd like. Over here, you're able to move them around. You can organize them in the fashion that you'd like, and that's particularly important if you are considering your design feature from the perspective of an artist, the form of your work, and you'll have an opportunity from this homepage to copy and share anything specifically that you'd like to. So I hope this brief tutorial has inspired you to think about creative ways you might use Flipgrid, and I know that you're going to want to spend some time exploring and experimenting with the tool on your own, so have fun as you get used to using Flipgrid.